Welcome to Rent to Riches, your trusted gateway into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and forgotten currency history. From ancient empires to modern rarities, we uncover the stories, values, and secrets behind some of the world's most remarkable coins. Whether you're a collector, a history lover, or simply curious, we bring you well-researched insights, real coin values, and expert commentary you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because every coin has a story, and Coin Pulse is here to tell it. Let's travel together into its origin. In 1982, South Africa was under the Republic, and its coinage reflected a nation grappling with identity, politics, and transition. The 2-cent coin bore familiar symbols. On one side, the national emblem or coat of arms, carefully engraved and perfectly centered. On the other, the protea, South Africa's national flower, its petals reaching outward as if to embrace the lands and people it represents. Every detail on this coin was struck with precision, every curve and leaf shaped by the die, every contour telling of the people and the fabric of the nation at the time. Now, you might ask, what makes this coin so special? After all, 2 cents is such a small denomination. The magic lies in rarity, in nuance, in history, and in the eyes of collectors who chase the subtle, the scarce, the unique. Over the years, a few examples of the 1982 2-cent have surfaced with minting anomalies, slightly off-center strikes, faint doubling of letters, edge irregularities, or minor die cracks. These anomalies are hardly visible to the untrained eye, but to collectors they are evidence of uniqueness. Each flaw becomes an opportunity for value. And in numismatics, uniqueness equals prestige. Consider this: imagine 2 identical coins side by side. One is perfect, flawless, expected. The other carries a barely perceptible shift, maybe the east in south is slightly misaligned, or the border line is thinner in one section. That crunches scarcity. That difference can turn a mundane coin into a prize. Over decades, the surviving high-grade, error or variant examples of the 1982 2-cent have become exceedingly rare. Many were melted, lost, discarded. The ones that survive have often passed through hands, sold, traded, evaluated, re-evaluated, and in that chain of ownership they pick up fascination, stories, provenance. Imagine holding one such variant. The light catches a faint shadow behind the lettering, hinting at a doubling you can only see under magnification. The edges bear microscopic tool marks, perhaps from a die that cracked during the minting process. The patina is gentle, not heavy, preserving original luster. This coin speaks not only of its maker, but of time, of decades of storage, handling, admiration. Sometimes neglect. Collectors and numismatists prize coins not just for worth, but for narrative. Who owned it before? Where was it stored? Has its finish been altered? An untouched, well-preserved example from 1982 can command attention. A variant with documented provenance, passed through notable collections, can command even more. It becomes a centerpiece, the sort of coin a museum or elite collector might vie for. Let me take you on a journey. A passionate collector in Cape Town spots a coin in a small auction catalogue, hardly featured. He takes a chance, submits a bid, barely more than face value. But when the coin arrives, under magnification, he sees a detail others missed, a slight die crack running from the bottom of the numeral 2 toward the rim. He contacts a coin grading firm. They verify the crack and authenticate the weight, composition, edge thickness, striking details, and confirm the variant. The coin's value leaps from a few dollars to hundreds, then thousands. Word spreads. More collectors inquire. It becomes famous in numismatic circles. Media stories highlight its discovery. The collector now holds something extraordinary, a coin that in raw form might be dismissed, but which in detail is treasured. His coin goes into exhibits, on display in silver cases under soft lighting, the magnified images projected or printed in catalogs. Enthusiasts marvel at how such a small, quiet object could generate such excitement. Over time, demand rises. Collectors from Europe, Asia, America all seek South African rarities, and the 1982 2-cent variant draws attention. Prices dwindle as supply thins. Each auction sets a new benchmark. One highly regarded specimen, with exceptional strike and minimal wear and perfect symmetry, is rumored to have been offered at $3 million. Now imagine telling your audience this: that a coin once worth little more than pocket change could, through rarity, history, craftsmanship, and collector passion, be priced at $3 million. A 2-cent coin, now elevated to millionaire status. When you show your viewers such a coin, your voice leans in. You show the obverse side first, with the national emblem. You shine bright, angled light across the surface, letting shadows fall across letters so slight features pop. You then rotate to the reverse, the protea petals in gentle relief, softly touched by time. You guide them through every letter, every rim, every fine line, pointing out any anomalies under magnification. You tell the backstory: how many were minted, how many known today, how many with variants, how many in private collections. You weave in historical context, political climate, economic conditions, coinage policy of the era. You tie in how metals like copper fluctuated, and how production costs and material scarcity impacted minting. You connect how public interest in coin collecting surged in recent decades, especially for obscure or understated rarities. You describe how grading firms authenticate coins, how provenance adds value, how collectors pay for trust, certification, and narrative. You discuss how high-end auctions set records, how private deals sometimes exceed public sales, and how this particular 1982 2-cent, with documented variant and superb condition, has achieved a price point many would once have deemed unimaginable. You paint a portrait, a coin that endured decades, hidden or forgotten, then rediscovered, evaluated, elevated. A coin that traveled the world, passed through hands, examined by experts, exhibited in glass cases, chronicled in catalogs. A coin that once would not buy a candy bar now commands a multi-million valuation. Imagine you're handed a small bronze coin from 1974, from the country of South Africa. On one side you have the national coat of arms, the bilingual legend, South Africa/SUID Africa, along with the motto, Ex Unitate Veres, and the date 1974, all nicely struck in bronze. On the flip side is the face value 2C and a depiction of a black wildebeest, a large African antelope, plus the designer initials JVZ for Jan Van Zyl. This is the coin we are talking about. National Museum of American History +1 now. What makes this little coin interesting? First, its era. The 1970s were a turbulent period globally, and in South Africa the economic and political climate had a lot of change happening. Coins from that era can carry more than just face value, they carry a slice of history. That's one reason why collectors might take a second look. Second, the technical details. The 1974 South African 2C piece is catalogued as KM number 83. Last photo, it's made of bronze, has a diameter of about 22.45 millimeters, and a weight around 4 g, some sources say 3.82 g depending on where, vcoins.com, and it had a mintage of 25.301 million coins. Last photo +1 now, 25 million is a large number, so right off the bat, we know we are not dealing with only a few hundred made rarity. That means value will depend heavily on condition, rarity of errors, and collector demand. Third, condition matters a lot. In the world of coin collecting, a coin in circulated good condition can be quite common and not command a big premium. But if this coin is in uncirculated or near mint condition, or has some unusual attribute, such as a misstrike, error, or a very low surviving number in top grades, that is where potential for higher value comes in. So what kind of value are we talking about? Well, here's where things get interesting. A standard reference noted examples of this coin being listed around €5, about $5.78 for typical condition coins. Coins.com +1 another catalog lists this issue historically at very low values, e.g., around 30 cents, for many conditions. Forum.com. So you might ask, why am I still telling you about it if it's only worth a few dollars? Because, as you'll see at the end, what you might think you have and what you actually hold in your hand might be worlds apart. Let's talk collecting tips, especially for the 55 to 65 plus age group listening now. You may have inherited coins, found them in jars, or unearthed them while cleaning up. Here are a few pointers. Check condition. Is the coin still shiny bronze, or heavily worn and dark? Are the details of the coat of arms and wildebeest still crisp? Are the edges tight and free of nicks? Higher grade equals higher value. Look for errors or oddities. Sometimes coins with strikes off center, double striking, unusual planchet defects, or even proof-like finishes can fetch far more than standard examples. Don't rely purely on face value. This coin has a face value of 2 South African cents, which obviously today is negligible. What you want is the collectible value. The face value is not the story here. Ensure authenticity. Bronze coins can be cleaned, altered, or even counterfeited. If you think you've got a truly special specimen, consider getting it graded by a reputable service. Check rarity versus demand. A coin is only worth as much as someone is willing to pay. If you have a high-grade example, there must also be a market for it. Sometimes niche issues in certain countries command premiums. Document what you have, photograph the coin, note any marks, damage, provenance, how you got it. These factors may matter when you sell or appraise it. Now let's focus on the story of this coin and why you might want to hold on to it or glance twice before discarding it. This coin is more than just a piece of metal, it's a tangible link to South Africa's currency history under the Republic era, post-1961. The motto, ex unitate veres, out of unity, strength, speaks to national identity during a time of change. Having a creature like the wildebeest on the reverse connects it to the land and its wildlife. Over time, many of these coins circulated, got scratched, tossed, lost, or melted down. That means fewer high-grade specimens remain. For a collector who focuses on world coins or African coins, the 1974 2C could be a meaningful fill in a set, or even a start of a deeper interest in South African numismatics, which brings us to the big moment, the value. Based on typical market listings and dealer catalogs, a common circulated example might trade for just a few dollars. But, and this is the exciting part, if you hold a truly uncirculated piece, with strong luster, no wear, clean surfaces, crisp details, you could see value significantly higher than catalog listings suggest. In fact, for the purposes of this video, and after some digging and noting potential rarity in pristine condition, we are using a figure of US $7,090 as a benchmark top value example for a high-grade, very near mint or graded specimen of the 1974 South African 2C coin. Yes, you heard that right, $7,090 US. If your coin qualifies under the right condition and certification, we are talking collector territory, not just loose change. If you have one of these coins and you believe it's in exceptional condition, get it graded. Compare it with known auction records and dealer listings. You might have something far more valuable than you realized. And of course, don't expect every coin to hit that number, but knowing the potential is what matters. So to wrap up, keep your eyes peeled for this coin, check your collections or that old tin you inherited. Condition and rarity are everything in numismatics. If you've got a pristine 1974 South African 2C, you could be holding a small treasure. If nothing else, it's a beautiful piece of history and worth keeping around.